Hey guys, I wanted to chat more about hardcore in the servers and how I think Blizzard could even do a better job and create even more hype than there already is. But before we get into it, I'd appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel, thumbs up the video. I really do appreciate the support. Now, the main reason why hardcore is so popular right now is the feeling of risking your character, right? You spent so much time on this character doing professions, you've grinded for gear, maybe you got a lucky drop off of a mob. And now you have to go to certain zones or dungeon or quests and you potentially risk your character and everything you worked for. That's the big thing of hardcore, and that's what keeps people going, really, is the risk. Now, I hope I speak for everyone, but there is no risk in everyone being level 24 and going and beating the shit out of everything in Deadmines. It's not fun, it's not a challenge. From what I thought hardcore was supposed to be a challenge. I think it would be way more interesting, and for me personally, it is way more interesting for me to be a lower level tank, tanking Van Cleef when he's 21 and I'm 17 or 18, hanging on for dear life. I'm trying to do ads. Maybe there's no CC and every pull is sketchy. I think it's way more enjoyable. I think it's way more fun. It's way more risky. I think one way they can improve on that is maybe decreasing the max level that you can go in the dungeon. And another way to entice people to that with the increased risk is maybe adding another piece of loot to the last boss in the dungeon, or perhaps maybe even lifting the one dungeon lockout and saying you can do a dungeon every 24 hours, because if you think about it anyways, people are going to be playing so much of the game, the chances are they're probably only going to be able to do one, maybe two resets of that dungeon anyways before they outlevel it. And I think that's a way you could do it, is just, reducing the max level of the dungeon, make it more challenging, but offer better rewards for the people that are willing to take that risk. Again, I just don't find it fun that people are gatekeeping or people refuse to run with other people because they are simply too low for them. There's nothing fun about being 24 and smashing Deadmines. There's no challenge, there's no risk. I just don't find it fun. And I get people are trying to stay alive, but it's hardcore. I feel like it should be more of a challenge. And I'm going to keep going with this challenge thing. As you can see, this is pretty much what I'm getting at with the majority of this video is I think the game should be more of a challenge. Now, another reason why it's not much of a challenge right now is just there's so many people playing. I think one way that they could adjust that or make it more hardcore or feel like you are the main character of the story and you are just trying to survive is adding a lot of layers. Think of a zone. I'm trying to think of a zone that, everybody has experienced at least once or twice. And the main one I keep thinking of is Westfall, but more importantly, I think of Moonbrook, right? A very potentially dangerous zone, tons of mobs, tons of places where you can pull 2, maybe even 3 mobs. One thing goes wrong and you're dead. Places like that, or caves, or Northwatch Hold, are no longer dangerous because there's tons and tons and tons of people there, and you're expecting these people to help you with tags, which the majority of them do. I just don't find it challenging, and some of these zones that people were very scared to do normally are no longer. It's like Weenie Hut Juniors, right? You reference to SpongeBob. It's a soft. I think one way you could make it more challenging is adding more layers. And so then these places like Moonbrook and caves and other places that were scary, or no longer scary, I should say, are way more dangerous and way more fun and way more of a challenge. And on the other hand, you're not going to have 30 people competing for one mob, right? You think of, like, again, Westfall, the Murloc on the south, the old Merc guy or whatever his name is, or you got, the guy in Durotar, the Koltaros Marine that's upstairs in the castle, places like that where there's just hundreds and hundreds of people trying to get this tag. You add layers that could reduce that too. But overall, my main point here is I think there's ways that Blizzard could make this more challenging. I think it needs to be more challenging because I don't think that's really much of a hardcore experience for people to essentially gatekeep that you have to be a certain level to do the dungeon. You don't need to be level 24 to be doing Deadmines. I just think there needs to be more of a challenge, and if you add it more challenging, make it more rewarding. An extra piece of loot, like I said, or just drop the lockout and just have one reset every 24 hours. But overall, I do think Blizzard has a lot of potential here to make this better, and I think one of the ways they could make it better is just make it more challenging. But I appreciate you guys listening to my thoughts. Again, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys another time. Thank you.